What is going on, guys? Noah Brewer here, back again with another video. I'm sorry for not uploading. I know it's been like 2 or 3 months. I didn't check how long it's been, but it's been a minute. For this video, I wanted to introduce my agency manager, Duncan. He manages all the clients and, well, not all the clients, but all the ad buyers. And he was an ad buyer himself once, and that's where he got the experience of this store that we're going to go through today. This is one of our clients. He joined, well, like 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago. He's done 140K in sales, probably more now, probably about 150K. And his profit was 30K last time we calculated a couple weeks ago. So pretty good store. I thought it would be cool to have him come in and film a case study. I want to publicize my team more, right? Like Duncan has been a huge help with managing the agency, making sure all the clients are taken care of. Even, you know, with results things, like he helps the ad buyers with strategy and kind of helps me free up my time. And I've trained him extensively, you know, just middlemaning between me and the ad buyers. So he's really knowledgeable. He deals with all the clients. If you are a client, Primitus Management in the chat, that's Duncan. So you'll be able to see and learn from him today, which would be pretty cool. So I'll let him take over and he'll speak his mind.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Duncan McLeod. I manage Primitus Marketing, Noah's agency. So in the past few months, I've been scaling one of our clients, TJ. It's one of the first Pioneer products that we added to the list. I just want to go over step by step what we did with the ads, how we went about it, the things that we messed up on, the problems we faced. I'll be going ahead and sharing the screenshots from the ad account as well as Shopify. So let's get into it. First off, this isn't necessarily what you consider like a problem-solving product. It's more of a novelty display piece. So originally, when we first started this product, we were paying $37 cost of goods sold. We did this during coronavirus, so obviously the prices went up with shipping, some other things, so we ended up paying about $45 around the end of May, and we were selling that for $74.99. The only upsells we were using were insured shipping, ePacket for $4.99 added cost, and about 70% of orders were purchasing that, so that obviously brought up our AOV. So how we're going to go about this is I'll go through the ads, we'll talk about what I did, the steps I took every week to make sure that we stayed profitable, and when we were scaling. At the end, TJ shared some information that he'd like to share from like a client's perspective, the things that he would have done differently, the things he would have liked to start early on to help his process. So let's go ahead and look at the first screenshot. So this first screenshot we're looking at is lifetime of the product. We started this on March 22nd, today is June 19th, and we're still running it. You can see here we're looking at 141,000 in purchase conversion value. We've spent 36,393. So Facebook didn't track everything that we made for sales. If we look in Shopify, it's actually 162,000 to date for March 22nd. So we've had some pixel issues in the process. You can see kind of how we scaled, what went on, and why we are currently downtrending. I'll go ahead and go through that later on. Let's go ahead and hop into the first campaign and explain that a little bit. So March 22nd, we launched the first campaign. We did 7 single interest ad sets, worldwide targeting, $5 a day budget. This is kind of where things first started going wrong with the pixel. For the first 4 days, it actually didn't track any purchases. From the get-go, we were trying to, you know, figure that out, see what we could do. Inevitably, we overcame that. And for this first week, 4.4 ROAS, we knew we had something. So after 72 hours of the first ad sets spending, I went in and I started cutting ones that weren't working and creating a new one every day. And that trends onward for the whole process. Even today, I'm still cutting 1 or 2 and then adding another one. So for week 1, you know, we saw something, you know, 200 spend to make just under 1,200 back, not terrible. So going into week 2, March 30th to April 7th, we ended up launching a relaunch campaign. So what that means is basically it's the same 10 ad sets. Going into week 2, we launched a relaunch campaign. Basically, what we went ahead and did is 10 single interest ad sets, just like the first campaign. Usually, our criteria to meet this point is 20 sales. Facebook only tracked 15 the first week. We had actually made 22 the first week. I'll show that on the Shopify screen. Same exact thing as the first. We let it run 3 days before we edit anything. And then I do the same thing with the first one, or with the second one as I did with the first one. Going into week 3 here, I went into retargeting. So retargeting did okay off the bat. That went on from about April 7th to April 21st. Slow moving. Basically what we were waiting for is those first 2 campaigns for those ad sets to start getting enough sales so that we can move into CBOs. So our criteria is roughly 10 purchases per ad set for CBOs. We do a top 5, $100 a day budget. Our retargeting is pretty simple. It's exactly what Noah teaches. But you know, we're still going well from here. These numbers are a little askew. So at this point, ROAS was a lot higher than it seems. After retargeting, it was a little bit of a long wait during that, but April 22nd, I went ahead and I launched the first CBO. All right, so the first CBO, we did a top 5 100. First week went great, 3.4 ROAS, spent about $700 to make about 2,400 back. You know, pretty decent for a first week. Things were going well. From there, after the 28th, we moved into from May 29th to May 5th. At this point, I'm trying to make a new campaign every 7 days to keep things rolling. If you kind of slack on that, things start to die out. So keeping consistency was very important. After the first week of the CBO, I went ahead and moved into another top 5 100 CBO. So basically, we took the next best top 5 performing ad sets, went ahead and made a CBO with them. That one did great, actually. That first week we did a 4.5, about $3,000 back for 700 spend. Definitely better than the first. Obviously, these numbers are yet again a little true. I believe that actually did about 50 purchases the first week, so it was doing great. After that, May 6th to May 12th, we moved into the first $200 CBO. Another great week. We were really scaling pretty well at this point. We did 3.7 on that, $20 cost per purchase. Obviously, that second CBO 100 is still killing it. $13 per cost per purchase was great. Things are moving along well at this point. We're getting some traction. Around this point, I believe it was May 12th or so, maybe May 11th, we got a PayPal hold. So this kind of slowed us down a little bit. We started taking it easier. We were running out of money that we could spend. Basically, PayPal was holding everything that we made for 30 days or until the product was delivered. We started updating tracking info. Things got a little bit better, but obviously it's hard when you're spending $1,000 a day in ads and you're spending $3,000, $4,000 a day in fulfilling to keep those numbers up every day without that money. So this is where we started to be cautious of what we were spending and realized that, you know, okay, we might have to slow down a little bit until things get better with PayPal. After we made those first 2 CBO 100 campaigns, I went ahead and duplicated the second one we made, the second top 5 ad set CBO, into a $200 campaign. It was doing really well on the $100 one. We were at a 5.49. Things were looking good, so went ahead and went with it. That first week, we did 67 purchases, a 3.7, perfectly respectable. About 1,300 spend, 5,200 back. At this point, we're doing about 3 to 4K days, give or take. Things were sometimes hit and miss, but we're definitely trending upward. So we let that run a week. PayPal holds were obviously affecting us a little bit, and I made our final for the time top 5 CBO. Basically, I took the original top 5 CBO I made, duplicated it into a $200 campaign, and let's see what we got for results there. Yeah, so May 13th to May 26th, I let that run. Had a 5.0, it was doing great. Let it go, and at this point, this is where our client TJ kind of told us that it was getting harder and harder to, you know, money-wise, to fulfill things, to keep things rolling, spending that much a day. So at this point, after I made this top 5 original $200 campaign, I duplicated that. We started running a little bit tight on money, so obviously when you're spending $1,000, $1,100 a day and you weren't really prepared for that, it's difficult, especially when PayPal has your money on hold. So this is kind of where the CBOs stopped. This was May 26th, so not less than a month ago. Yeah, so to May 26th, we had done 103,000. We were still obviously trending upward. We had, you know, close to about 3K days, doing pretty good. But we definitely had to slow down a little bit. We stopped with CBOs. He was gonna have money come off PayPal in I think 5 days. So we just took it easy. We let it run for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Around that time is when we got the money back from PayPal. I think we were getting paid out about $5,000 a day. We had about 70K on hold. At the same time, I believe it was like the next day or so, we got a low page score. So we had dipped below 2.0, we hit 1.9. And there was a couple reasons for it. Obviously, your first time scaling, you're not aware of you know, customer service, those kind of things. He was doing his due diligence. His customer service emails weren't the greatest. Since then, he's definitely gotten better. But another big issue with it was COVID. So obviously, shipping times were extended dramatically. People were expecting packages, they weren't coming in. They sooner or later did, but not in time for them to leave us a bad rap. If you look at this lifetime graph here, I think about the record day, and then May 31st, that was the first day of our low page score. I was able to maintain things for a few days, I think about a week and a half, into June 5th, June 6th. And then the page score continued to hurt our optimization, our delivery. And from there on out, I went ahead and I moved into lookalikes. So if we look at the next screenshot here, yeah, so May 27th, I went ahead and I launched the first lookalike. So 4.6 ROAS, things were still staying live at this point. We were doing okay. 14 purchases, I'm happy with it. We're gonna move on to the next one. This week, I went ahead and I moved in and did our add to cart and initiate checkout lookalikes. Not every time they hit well, so add to cart actually died off in the first 2 days. We had one purchase, totally normal. Initiate checkout, still running. 11 purchases for that first week, 4.7 ROAS, and that's still going strong. Following after that, June 9th to June 13th, I moved into add payment info lookalike. A little bit weaker, but it did its job, 2.6. At this point, because of the price raising of shipping, our break even is about a 2.5, 2.45, somewhere around there. So obviously our margins are getting eaten into a little bit. That's all right. And then after that, June 13th to June 19th, today, we've obviously cut back on quite a bit. So I'll go ahead and show a screenshot of all the campaigns from here on out. This past week, I've had to cut down quite a bit. All of our CBOs are turned off. Most of our ad sets in our single Insta. This past week I've had to cut down quite a bit. That page score has definitely been affecting us. So in the past week, we're still moving on with lookalikes. From this week on, things have definitely been slowing down quite a bit because of that low page score. If that wasn't the case, I'm sure we'd still be going pretty strong. Basically, I've turned off all of the CBOs by this point. This past week, I think the 13th to the 14th, I finally had to cut most of it. Just not profitable. Things were stopping to optimize. Things were not going as well. Most of the single interest ad set campaigns are definitely dying off as well. I think we have 3 or 4 or 5 running in each one. So this page score is really what kind of ended it for us. PayPal holds, obviously we lost some momentum when we couldn't keep making campaigns. I was looking to move into $400 CBOs right before that happened. It is what it is. So looking here on Lifetime, in the past week or so, we've definitely shut off a lot of things. Things are definitely slowing down with that low page score, not performing as well as it was. I'm still making a lookalike every 5 or so days just to see what will stick or not. We've moved into video view lookalikes, and they seem to be doing okay. You can see here in this screenshot that when we launched this, about 2 days ago now, we got a 3.5, so things are doing all right. There's a few that are still alive. Initiate checkout still alive. All website visitors lookalike is still alive. Retargeting and the 2 original campaigns are still on, but all the CBOs have been turned off. Spending that much a day and just not optimizing just wasn't working. We were just about losing money. As for today, about an hour ago, we actually got an email saying that our page score has been reevaluated. We're back up to a 2.9, I believe. We're back in business. We're going to see if we can keep this going. Obviously, we're kind of starting from ground zero again after shutting everything off, but hopefully we can make something happen with it. I'll keep going through lookalikes from here on out. I have about 6 more campaigns to launch in the next, probably 3 to 4 weeks that we'll go through, see what will stick, and then maybe we'll go ahead and rebuild those single interest ad set campaigns and go from there. So there's a few things that TJ actually wanted me to share just so you can get a perspective from a client's point of view. Obviously his first store scaling, didn't necessarily know what he was doing. It was kind of a learning process as you go for all of it. So the first thing he would say is he wanted to make sure the product quality was good. So with this product, we had a few different options to supply from. Some had much more high quality versions of it, and some were much lower quality versions. So the video we had made kind of like showcased the high quality version of the product. It had more quality pieces in it. It was better constructed. Obviously the price reflected that. The lower quality item sold for about $13 for us. The higher quality was $37. So we ate that cost to make sure that down the road refunds, unhappy customers weren't a thing. Product quality was definitely something he looked into heavily. So obviously going with that, we had to find suppliers. So I know TJ had some struggles going through finding either AliExpress suppliers, messaging them privately, figuring out where he could get the best deal. He made a connection with one supplier that definitely gave him an easier time fulfilling that many orders. Towards the end, we've actually run out of products with that supplier, and we've gone back to fulfilling from AliExpress, but it's a lot easier to do that when you're only moving about 12 orders a day as we've scaled down. Another thing he did was price checking different suppliers for best shipping prices for the country he was going to. So I know for a handful of orders every day, it would be more affordable for him to ship from an AliExpress supplier with the same product than it would be for his private supplier. Just because shipping to some countries was absolutely ridiculous, other countries wasn't as bad. The things that he wished he did differently was set up more automation. I don't think TJ got a VA throughout this whole process. I think he did it himself. So when you take that kind of load, you obviously need to make time for that. Otherwise, things like customer service aren't as well taken care of. So the one app he mentioned that he definitely liked was Shopmaster. It definitely helped restructuring the process when you're moving a ton of orders. The next thing was he wished he put a tracking page in his navigation for users to track their own orders. You know, you get a lot of emails every day when you're moving that much, asking where their products are, what's going on, you know, how things are going. So that's something he wished he did to keep down on having to reply to hundreds of emails a day. And I guess, you know, to wrap it all up, it was really about customer service. You know, that's where he kind of struggled, was finding the time, finding a system, finding programs and apps and things to make that process easier for him. The next up is he wished that he put word filters into page moderation sooner. So for you guys that don't know, you can put in a large list of words that you'd like to be taken out or hidden from your comments on posts. It just makes it a lot easier when it comes to siphoning through thousands of comments a day. Obviously, you know, millions have seen the ad by now. There was a lot of comments. You're gonna get some negative ones. So if you put in a page moderation list, it'll definitely help. Just taking out anything that you don't like, swear words, you know, where's my order, things like that. The final tip he has for you guys is have more cash prepared when you're scaling. You know, from the first month spending about $100 a day to mid-May when we were spending, you know, close to $1,100 to $1,200 a day, and then fulfilling all those orders, you definitely need to have cash on hand. And that's where we really struggled, was between the PayPal holds, it made it much harder to, you know, pay things. Just basically a decent amount of money to float accounts. Basically, just to have a decent amount of money to float costs when, you know, either Shopify is not paying out or PayPal is not paying out. Just a buffer zone for you to use. So yeah, I think that's about it. Obviously, this product is still running. That page score being updated today definitely gives us a chance to continue going with it. To date, I believe we're at about 162,000 in revenue. That's off 37,000 spent. I believe TJ's brought home about 30 to 35 grand, maybe a little bit more after fees and things like that. So definitely made him some money in the past few months. If you have any more questions about how all of this works, if you'd like to be part of the agency, you know, obviously we're having a lot of winners recently, doing really good. Feel free to reach out to Noah over Instagram. You know, any way you can contact us, we'd be happy to help. And I think that's all I got to say. Thanks.
Alright guys, I hope that was super educational and informational for you, and it'll help you out a little bit on your journey wherever you're at. If you're just starting out testing, if you're scaling, if you've already scaled and you're dealing with supplier issues because of Corona. We kind of scaled this during that whole situation, which you'll see Duncan talk about a little bit. But I mean, as for anything else, if you're interested in joining the agency and working with myself, Duncan, and the other guys at the team, DM me on Instagram. You can leave a comment, but I don't really have anybody going through comments. But I am pretty active on Instagram, so if you want in the agency, send me a DM. But that's it for this video. Let me know if you want to see more like this, because we have a few more case studies that we can make. But that's all for today. Peace.